Welcome back, everybody. Rudy, Alpha Investments. So we're doing a follow-up video. About a month ago, I had brought up some of the new card games, the Flesh and Blood, Exodus, and of course Argent Saga. So today we're going to talk about some more Argent Saga, and been doing research over the holidays, last month or so, kind of getting some feedback from some local cardboard collectible obsessive cardboard people, and want to kind of do a more in-depth video today about Argent Saga. Give you guys my opinion, kind of give you all kind of what I'm kind of thinking about doing, maybe working with this company to start selling some of their products, and of course, what are my thoughts moving forward? Is this something that can stand the test of time? The pros, cons, let's look at card stock quality, the basic mechanics of the game, some of the things I like and dislike. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. So non-magic related. So if you're not, if you're one of those people that if you don't not talk about magic, you want to run away and thumbs down the video, that's up to you. No hard feelings. I'll still hold your hand. So first thing, I want to go over some interesting information I got from Jim, Ultra Reality Games, the creator of the card game, speaking with this gentleman and kind of following what's going on with these guys. So I want to kind of give some information that I thought was interesting. So first, I know when they released the product, this is all from 2019, probably about the middle to the end, third quarter of the year. They released alpha demo decks. So apparently, when they did them, they have sketch art on them, and in addition to that, they have different type of coding, which was not really what they were looking for. So it has a different coding and different arts on these demo decks I'm going to show you in a little bit. In addition to that, this was very interesting. I guess when they made their first booster box, the Betrayal set, kind of the first release of the product, there's supposed to be a box topper in each booster box for the first set of Argent Saga, but apparently they screwed up. And there's 5 different box toppers. You're supposed to get one random box topper per booster box, and apparently each booster box has all 5 box toppers. So the factory put all 5 box toppers instead of a random one. So that's interesting. I thought that was so. I'm learning about the history of this and kind of getting feedback from everybody around here. And of course, apparently there was also issues with the foiling, where some of the foiling was difficult to read. In addition, they called it blooming. Kind of giving it a scuffed look. They weren't happy with the quality of the foiling. I actually call that more of like a fogginess, or it kind of gets cloudiness on the surface, where you see a little bit of like kind of discoloration, usually around the bordering, not in the middle. Usually it starts on the edge and moves its way in. So it shows that the company cares. They're really trying to make a refined, very polished product, which is a good sign. So apparently they made a second 2.0 release of the first series of Betrayal booster boxes. And they claimed they fixed the foiling, they corrected the one random box topper per opening, and so they tried to make the product more accurate, refined the way it should have been. So, okay. And then I guess moving forward, they made these mini expansion packs. I'm going to show you all of these in a second. We're going to do a top-down camera view. We'll jump over and take a look at these things. I just want to give everybody an introduction. These little expansion packs are like little 25 card. They're pre-constructed. They're all the same, so there's no randomization. So card stock is actually pretty impressive, though. And then, of course, they got their new set, Revelations, coming out. I think Revelations? Yeah. Coming out pretty much, I guess, a month before this video goes live. So I guess a lot of people are already aware of it, with a lot more archetypes, different types of cards, a little bit more complexities and some different mechanics to kind of make the game a little bit more spicy. Usually that's pretty normal. If you haven't noticed, what happens is usually when people create a new product, usually a new card game, you want the first set to have unique mechanics, but you don't want it so complex out of the gate that it doesn't hook players. It kind of makes people nervous. You want people to be able to pick it up, understand the basics of the game, and then get more refined, get better and better at it, and then do more complicated strategies and different type of combos. That's usually kind of the direction you want to do for creating a new game and really getting people lured into it over time. Last comment I want you guys are going to see in this video, the promo cards. Apparently, according to this, the Argent Saga actually has promo cards, different full arts and things like that, which are cool. But apparently they have some promo cards that are actually serial numbered, like the sports card world. Like 1 of 100, 1 of 1,000 type thing. That's a very double-edged thing, because on the surface, I'm really excited about that, because you know exactly how many of that particular card exist. You know the actual rarity. But on the other side of the coin, it's scary because everybody associates automatic numbered cards or serialized cards with the sports card industry, and it creates a lot of bitter negativity. It's a very controversial topic. Now, if used properly, it's probably no problem. It actually could be a positive thing, but it's a very fine line you have to walk when you start doing serialized things, because you are pretty much telling people, this is rare, this is how many there are, you need to cherish it. But at the same time, you're telling people it's super hard to get and you need to pay a premium price. So it's a very sensitive line in the year 2020 as we approach here to try to handle that type of product. So I've seen it done good before, very well, and executed good in the like Marvel comic universe type of Marvel booster boxes with Flair, Marvel Universe, and some of these other hobbies. But I've also seen it driven into the ground. So I guess only time will tell. So that's all I got. That's the introduction. Let's swap the camera views. Let's take a look at this card game. Let's look at the card stock. I would just go on YouTube if you want to learn how to play. I'm not really going to do a breakdown of the different zones, the towers, how you have to flip the towers. In other words, kind of defeat the towers, and after you knock out all the towers, you hit the player and you kind of win. We're not going to go into, I'm not going to really do a how-to video. That's really not what I'm interested in. I'll give you the basics. We'll talk about the game itself. But if you actually want to learn and how every little thing works on the card, there are other videos that already do that. I want to more just analyze the game and what I think they can take it and how it'll last. I think that's more of a better approach for this video. Alright, so let's look at this stuff. So I want to first start with the playmats. I want to kind of review this and check this stuff out with you guys. So they do make a fancy cloth playmat that's incredibly impressive. I wish you guys could feel the texture and everything. Unfortunately, you can't really come through on the camera. The playmats and the quality is very impressive. I want to share some interesting things. So just so everybody's aware, you obviously have your kind of your tower zone. You have your 5 towers here, your units or your creatures for all you from Magic the Gathering. And of course, you have spells and all of that. And then of course, kind of, I don't know what, your commander, your leader kind of thing, his assistant. Or if you're from Force of Will, you're kind of your J ruler type thing. Of course, you're kind of your deck, your graveyard type of stuff. Or, I'm sorry, kind of shard. And then of course, your shard's kind of like tapping for mana, but they don't use that lingo. So this is a regular playmat. I thought that was interesting. But this was really what caught my eye. This playmat here, check this out. So this actual playmat, the back of the playmat actually has like a double-sided print guide for just like the gamer. I've never seen that on a playmat. It's a thick, good quality. I thought that was kind of fascinating. So, probably my favorite playmat. Absolutely stunning artwork in this. Reminds me a lot of the Force of Will trading card game. This is a regular playmat here. Absolutely beautiful young lady on here. Beautiful artwork. Great coloring. The hair, the curves of her, the outfit, the coloring, the logo. And it has the stitched bordering. Very heavy, very thick. Giggity. Very thick, heavy, good quality playmat. Probably my favorite on there. Then, of course, I actually really like this personally. Kind of old man Rudy over here. This is probably my second favorite one next to the beautiful lady over there. This one's stunning. I love the detail, the art, the coloring is the best. So for this video, though, we're going to leave the actual regular kind of how-to for people just so they can kind of look at it and kind of see what's involved with the actual game. And you can kind of see how a general game is laid out with kind of, everyone's coming from my channel. Most 99% of everyone's coming from Magic. So again, you kind of lay out your lands, you tap for shards instead of mana. And of course, you can pay to put your units out. Unlike Magic, that was interesting that you're limited to 5 units on the field. And if you want to go above that, you kind of have to kill one off and replace it. I thought that was interesting. And then, of course, your towers are kind of face down and random, so your opponent doesn't know which towers and which location. I thought that was kind of an interesting mechanic. And of course, for those of you from the commander, leader, your J ruler, whatever it is, you're kind of set up. And of course, I like the idea of the assistant, though. I don't think I've seen the assistant concept before. That really got my attention there. So next we're going to go over a few different things. This is we're going to open up a pre-constructed kind of what they call the alpha test deck. This is the red, which is red's always usually the most popular. We're going to kind of go over that. I want to show you guys a couple little things too. This is their first booster box series that they did. Obviously you can see there's kind of the first print run, and then I guess this is their second print run, or the 2.0. So apparently this one has all 5 box toppers instead of the 1 random out of 5. And this one they corrected where it's back to normal where you get 1 out of 5 random. So that's an interesting little blip anomaly, I guess, for long term, I think. I think that'll be kind of strange. And then this is the second, or expansion, or second set that has come out recently. So this is the one that's come out about a month ago, around Thanksgiving, the holidays here in the fourth quarter in November. This is their expansion, or I call it expansion, but I guess it's really just a second set, I guess you can call it. This one doesn't have a print run of 1 versus 2. I guess this is the only variant. There's no 2.0 version, because I think they sold out and had the printing errors. So, on this one, again, my first gripe out of the gate, I think the sets are too small. I'm not a huge fan of 100-card sets. You need a little bit more variance, diversity in the cards. I always feel the minimum set size should probably be the 150 range, and even then you're pushing it. I think it's minimum. I always feel that a set needs to be probably the 200 to 250 range, and I think Magic even figured that out over the years, because they realized, even Force Will, looking at you, Millennia of Ages with your 50-card set and 100 variants, what happens is, if you do not have a lot of variance in cards, it's very easy to get everything. And if you get everything too easily, there's not a lot of chase. There's not a lot of product purchasing from your LGS. There's not a lot of people cracking packs. You dilute and remove that chase of the lore and looking for loot. And I'm not a fan of that. Next, these... but other than that, by the way, I like the concept. I like the size of the boxes, the actual quantity in packs. I like the cards per pack, the overall style of it. The rest of the product itself, like, I don't know if you guys can read that, sorry. The 10 cards per pack, 24 cards per box. I don't know if you can see that. Now, this is a different thing. So I'm very happy, and I like the concept. Now, Jim and everybody out there looking, you need to have ARG or your logo stamped in the cellophane. You need, if the game does stand the test of time and actually create a loyal following long term, and people want to go back and get the original boxes or versus this and that, you need to have some sort of security stripe or pin. You need some sort of protection, and I'm not seeing that. Come on, Jim, always use protection, sir. You need something that says, I want to see an Argent Saga logo, like Force of Will, like Wizards of the Coast, we need in Pokemon, anything. We need something versus generic clear wrapping. I don't like that. So, but the product itself, art, packaging, good to go. Now these, I don't know. I want everyone else's opinion on these. These type of products usually make me very nervous, because this is kind of a very, I would assume these are going to be MSRP of like, what, 20 bucks, maybe 15 range. These are pre-constructed. Let me give you guys I'll open one up here in a second. But the concept of just a little expansion pack with a literally set, what is this, 20 cards, 25 cards? 25 cards. But being just the exact same 25 cards, very small, and trying to sell for like $20 thing. I mean, I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. It doesn't quite feel where it should be to me. Oh, wow. Look at this bad boy. Holy smokes. 5,000. Holy 8? Holy crap. This is a monster, literally. So it just, you don't feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck, even if it's just the good cards. I mean, I don't know, but nowadays Wizards is selling, secret lair singles direct to the public. So maybe I just need to adjust my thinking. Am I right, everybody? So, and again, this one even advertised, I thought this was interesting, where the second expansion, I believe there's 3 or 4 expansions. There's a third one coming out, or maybe already coming out, or already released by the time you guys watch this video. So this one actually has new towers. So I thought that was an interesting concept. So I'm going to open this one for you guys on camera here. It's got a little pulse. This is a little alpha generic kind of deck here. So to give everybody an idea of this, the texture. In the feel of the card, it's a thicker cardboard. It doesn't have a thin, crispier kind of polish like a Magic card would have, but it doesn't have a really crazy card texture like maybe a Force of Will card would have. Okay, so this is just a little map layout again, just like the play map. Okay, I was just double checking on there, and it's got a little quick start guide for those of you. So, just to give everybody a little rundown, you pretty much have kind of creatures, you kind of have towers, and what I think is interesting, I guess one of the things I'm real curious about, let me pull out some there's your shards or basic mana, or you kind of put them down there, put one down, tap it. That's how you kind of pay for your creatures. If where's a creature you go. So if you want to cast this unit, I'm sorry, not creature, unit. You got to tap 2 shards kind of thing. And you can pop him down into your unit zone. Exploding Drain, again, it's a unit. A lot of the cards will have different mechanics. See, this one has Ruin. See, Arrive. For those of you, just to give you guys, I'm not trying to teach everybody because that's not really my specialty, but Arrive is, I'm trying to relate to everybody out there who's going to understand this. You kind of have your red archetype. You have your cost, kind of your casting cost, your 3 shards.
You have pretty much a unit, it's a creature. In other words, you put it into play, it stays, not a spell. You have your flavor text down here, kind of a little bit of a storing line thing. And arrive is pretty much like when it comes into play, it activates XYZ. In other words, when the card enters the game. In other words, when you play the card, kind of one of those, Magic has tons of that kind of stuff. Then you got quickness, similar mechanics that a lot of people, insta-cast, play at any time, kind of like an instant spell. In other words, the spell is kind of a little more versatile, not as restrictive on when you can cast it. You have exhaust, you have different mechanics, but I think one of the things I am most curious about, everybody, is the different towers. The towers is what really fascinates me about this game. When you put these towers down, you kind of shuffle them, and your opponent doesn't know which tower to hit. You kind of say, okay, I'm going to attack with my... Oh, by the way, here's another tower here. See, here's your Tower of Fire. So I'm going to attack with my, dragon here, Exploding Dragon. I'm going to target this one right here. And it's attacking, 1,500 or 15, I usually round off the zeros. Obviously, excuse me, if you hit this 1,500 against this tower, which has 1,500, it's destroyed, or as I like to call it, instead of being like this, it gets flipped. So, of course, when all your towers are flipped to your opponent, all 5 of them, you're kind of exposed. And then if they hit you one time directly, then one more attack, you kind of lose the game. That's kind of the win condition. I guess what's interesting, though, the most intriguing part of this whole Argent Saga that really caught my attention was the towers. Because this reminds me in Magic of my favorite thing in Magic. My favorite thing in Magic is always specialty land and artifacts. And these towers remind me of specialty land. You kind of have your 5 towers, and I'm assuming, and it's probably already out by the time you guys watch this video, there's going to be different variants of your towers, I would assume, as the sets and the boxes come out, cards get printed. And the thing that caught my eye is each one of these towers has a different ability or mechanic that gets triggered when the card is actually destroyed by your opponent or turned or whatever you want to call it. That's what really adds that was probably my favorite twist to this specialty land or towers. I like the concept. I actually am a little surprised. That was probably the biggest thing that really piqued my interest in this game. For example, when you kill this, the water tower? I was going to say wind or water. I think wind or light. For some reason, just like Magic, the white card or the light or the yellow is always the weakest. Nobody likes it. I don't know what the deal is. Jim, if you're watching, why is everybody always against, even in Magic, everybody says white is the weakest color in Magic, and I've been hearing the same thing about light. I don't know if it's because the cards I don't know. Anyways, but that, I like the concept of it. I like how every time your opponent tries to take out one of your towers, when they destroy it, something happens. Like if your opponent destroys this tower and you flip it, you draw 2 cards. If your opponent destroys this tower, you get to play you get to put a knight token as a guardian, which I believe guardian means almost like a wall. In other words, can't attack. And you put a guardian. I don't think there's tokens yet. I couldn't find any tokens, so I think you just do like a face down card. So in other words, if you kill this tower, you get defense that pops up. If you kill this tower, you can destroy any other unit. It's kind of like a fire. It burns you. So that was something that really stood out to me in this game. That was probably my favorite twist to Argent Saga. Now, I want to talk about these here. These shards. They're cool. You pretty much produce your 1. I am assuming at this point in the game, from what I gather, everything is kind of colorless. It just produced 1. There's no set colors. So let's get into the final concept of this game here. I want to show promos, stamped cards, and different things. And I think this is a great video. Before I get into that, actually, I'll go ahead and start unpacking it. Hang on. So this is something that was sent for me to review and kind of look at and understand. So these are promos, different variants of printing and different things from the team at Argent Saga. We got a metal card. You see this? Hold on. Let me see if I can get it to make the metal sound. Hang on. Let me see. Ready? Nah, it's got the plastic. I don't want to damage it. So we have different foiling and specialty cards I want to share with everybody. First things first. What the heck? I can't even read the card. I don't even know what this is. I see the word Omega. Honestly, right now, read the card, everybody. So the foiling immediately seems cool, but the reality, terrible. So I'm going to assume this is the first print run they were talking about, because I also see the cloudiness or fogginess, whatever you want to call it, on the top. So that's the first thing I notice. And then, sure enough, what do you notice, everybody? Hang on, let me put these down. What do you notice? immediately, the foiling, they fixed it. So that's what they were referring to, because man, what a difference. I like the flashiness. Obviously, the first, oh my God, that's insane. The quality is definitely better. There's no fogging and clouding on the edge, but still, the foiling does not promote the artwork. It hinders the artwork. That's my criticism. But the fact the foiling outlines the text, home run there. So I still think the foiling needs to be tweaked, because man, oh my God, it's neat when you look at it and the reflection and the refraction, but it's just not realistic. So let's look at another one here. Look at this, everybody. So this, I don't even know what it is. I'm looking at the camera, looking through the lens of the camera. I can't read, hold on. Something Hawk. So then I guess the second one, yeah, they updated the foiling, but still I can't see the art. You know, who did this art? GR, I guess? Is that, I physically cannot tell. I can't enjoy the art. So the foiling needs to promote the artwork. Now this was interesting. This really, really blew my mind here. This was gorgeous. I thought this was stunning. This really made me impressed. The foiling promotes the art and just wows me. Absolutely stunningly beautiful full art, I guess shards. So this was something this is a home run quality. Absolutely, it reminds me of full art stones from Force of Will. And then we got a couple other last minute things here. Buckeye, little full art action here. Then you have the full art with the crazy foiling there. But the text is overlaid where it's very clear and easy to read. And then we have this. Mine is just incredibly beautiful card. And of course, we have numbered 873 out of 1,000 numbered card. So I don't know how I feel about the numbered cards. I like because it tells me the print run, but it makes me nervous because in the wrong hands, numbered cards, serialized cards can just be a dangerous road. So that is yet to be determined. My instinct is leaning towards I think they can run it right and won't be a problem. But it's a stunningly beautiful card. Oh my goodness. Same thing with some of these other things. I guess these were the championship type cards that were handed out. Oh my goodness. That is what I'm talking about. Look at the foiling on that. Look at the art, how crisp and clear. That is just gorgeous. So this is also, look at this beautiful lady on here. This woman is gorgeous looking. Got the Wolverine claws going out there. And stunning foiling promotes and accentuates her and the artwork in the background. That's amazing. Home run. And then you have points. And I guess that's it. And then last but not least, they do have this. I know it's a longer video. This is a metal card. And I know it's kind of funny. People ask me all the time. The Professor Rudy, the magical engineer. So, obviously, I like the card. This is a pure metal card. Absolutely stunning metal card. And I don't really have much to say. It's flipping beautiful. It's heavy. It's gorgeous. There's the metal sound. So, final thoughts and everything. These make me nervous. I'm not sure how I feel about these expansion little... I don't want to say Keyforge. These little pre-made... These make me nervous. I don't know how I feel about that type of product. These type of booster boxes and packaging, big fan. Home run, guys. Great work on it. Just you need a better seal to protect your proprietary information. Playmat's gorgeous. Foiling's beautiful. Some of this foiling needs to be tweaked on regular, but some of this amazing full art extension. This stuff is just stunningly beautiful. And the regular cards, I know these are not the regular ones. I touched some of these, the promo ones that had the regular card stock versus these. The card stock is still it's a good, thick quality. It's very nice. The card stock, and it feels overall, even on these kind of alpha test decks, that's pretty consistent. A little off on the cutting. I see a little bit of variance. But overall, very smooth, very nice, very polished. I'm impressed. So anyways, final thoughts. For those of you who are still watching this video, probably going almost a 30-minute video here, I want everyone's opinion. If you're a patron, is this something you like? I've been discussing with these guys. I'm going to send out some private polls on Patreon. Is this a card game that you guys would want me to carry or offer once a month, once a quarter when they have a new set? Is this something that you guys out there would like to have offered? Now I'll have to discuss the pricing and how the distribution works and all that, because I know he uses distributors. At the same time, I use the distributors, and versus working directly with ARG, I have to find out the behind the scenes and make sure everybody's happy. And I don't, because these are some of the distributors he uses I'm very close with, and I don't want to mess with any relationships with my Magic relationships with the distributors and the head guys. So as of right now, this is something I'm leaning towards getting more information on, and I want to find out, is this something I'm going to be able to work a deal out where I can offer the patrons like an Argent Saga variety pack, maybe like once every 3 months, since there's not a ton of product every month like Magic, but once every 3 months we can do like a variety pack of all the new stuff or something at a good package deal. Let me know if you're interested. If you're a patron, send me a message. Tell me what you think. If you have any pros, cons, I'll send out some polls. Again, thank you to Jim, the team at Argent Saga, and of course ARG, Ultra Reality Games, all you guys for making a very cool product. It's interesting. The whole between the shards, you don't get mana screwed. The decks, it's got a Force of Will vibe, a Magic the Gathering vibe, some old world kind of vibe from some different card games. It's unique, and I think it's going to be around for a little while. I don't know long term is going to be, the longevity of the game is going to correlate directly to how the management runs, the power level, power creep, print runs, and the actual distribution and management. That's really all it's going to come down to. I can make a million videos. At the end of the day, if it's not driven by really good leaders at the game, as Force of Will learned, you can crash the ship. And we'll see how it goes overall. Not bad, guys. Good job.